So before we start our discussion or our lesson for today, may I have Nurhan calculate the prayer. So Nurhan, thank you for leading the prayer. So now I will check the attendance, class. I'm Rose Batapa.
Present, ma'am.
Nurhan Baltao.
Absent, ma'am.
Shilin Wazaman.
Present.
Hindi kami sinabre.
Present.
Meron Jane Yang.
Present.
So, sadly, we have 10 absents for today's class. So good morning everyone again. So, I observed that you are a little bit lazy today. Some of you are lazy today. So, I will give activity for you to warm up your brain cells or your brain class, because I observed that you are, some of you are sleepy, some of you are paying attention, so I will give a activity before the discussion proper, okay? So, I have here the flashcards, and I will divide you. This row is the group 1, in this row is the group 2. So I have here the flashcard which has a word, and you are going to connect it to make a sentence, okay? So I will give you 2 or 3 minutes to do the activity. Okay, and before that, please observe what you are doing, because I will going to ask you your observation in doing the activity. So here are your flashcards. So, are you already done, guys? Our class, are you already done?
Yes, ma'am.
So here are the answer of the group 1. Okay, and the group 2, here are their answers. So this is the answer of the both of the groups. So, unfortunately, both groups had correct answer, or they come up with the correct sentence. So in the group 1, they come up with, I was born in Africa. Then another group 2 is in the war and poverty. So anyone else who can, anyone of the group will answer if they observe any of this activity that you are going. So I will give a plus points for the group who can hit the point of what is our lesson. So Miss Ivy, yes, yes. So guys, Miss Ivy tells that in their group they make a sentence which is a complete sentence, which is correct, because as you can see here in the group 1, I was born in Africa, and it is a sentence, right? So anyone in the group 2, yes, Miss Shalene, yeah. Okay, so Miss Shalene said that they are a little bit struggle in connecting the words, because they come up with a sentence that has a complete thought. So everyone here in the class get the get the lessons for today. Yes. So Miss Rika May. Yes. So Miss Rika May said that our construct a sentence, which a good hit on our lesson. So now guys, our lesson is all about what is lost. Yes. What is lost? Miss Ivy, would you read the definition of the clause? Yes. So, clause is a group of words containing a subject and predicate and functioning as a member of a complex. So, this is very understandable. Did you understand, guys? A little bit. So, according to the definition, the clause is a group of words that containing a function as a member of the complex, which is example. Eyes on the board. So the example here is Ivy bakes a cake. So can you say that this example is a clause? Yes, Mr. Han. Or rather, Mr. Han. Yes, you're right. This is a clause as well as in common, this is a sentence. So how can you say that the sentence has a complete thought? There is a subject and the predicate. So in the clauses, which is talks about the subject and the predicate, just remember that subject is doing the action. And the predicate is the person doing, which is bake cakes. Okay? So this example is the example of a clause or clause because it has a complete thought. So any question?
None, ma'am.
So none. So I have here a poem which is an Afro-Asian literature born in Africa. Born in Africa, which wrote by Anthony de la Guado. So as you observe, guys, here in our poem, anything else that you observe? Yes. Oh, that's right. Okay. So Miss Ivy said that the poem or the first line of the poem containing a sentence which has a complete thought, or it has a subject and a predicate which serve as clause, right? So who can read the poem? Yes, Miss De La Cruz. So thank you for reading the poem. So in this poem, it has a as you can see, there are lines in the poem which has a complete thought. The next line, in the war of the and poverty, there is no complete thought. So each line has a thought and has no thought. So I will explain to you what is the independent clause and dependent clause. So independent clause. So guys, can you see it at the back? Okay. So independent clause. Independent clause, a clause that can stand by itself as a simple sentence. An independent clause contains a subject and a predicate that makes sense by itself. Just remember guys that independent clause is a sentence that has a complete thought. For example, earlier, Ivy bakes a cake. A cake. So, here the example, it has a complete thought, right? It has a subject and a predicate. And the sentence is making sense itself. It has a complete thought. If you are reading it at one time, you are going to know what is the sentence all about, because the sentence has a subject and predicate which has a complete thought. And just remember that independent clause is a simple sentence like this one. Ivy bakes a cake. Okay? So did you get it, guys? Oh, yes. Just always remember that in independent clause, it refers to a sentence which has a complete thought and a simple sentence, as well as the sentence has sense by itself and it has a subject and the predicate. So, any question?
None.
So, yes, do you want another example? So, here is. So, here the example. Who can read it? Yes, thank you so much, Miss De La Cruz, for reading the example. So, here, class, can you say that this example, Nurhan Lantao, and Nurhan is riding a bike. Is this an example of independent clause? Yes. So thank you so much. So Miss Shilin said that it is a complete thought because the sentence has a complete thought, and it is right because the sentence here are clear and understandable, and it has a complete thought. There is a subject and the predicate. So did you get it, guys? And it is a simple sentence, right? Nurhan is riding a bike. Even the grade 3 can do this. So this is a independent clause. So let's move forward, or let's move on to the second branch of clauses. So I have here the independent clause. So anyone can read the definition of independent clause? Yes. Ms. Bazaman. Okay, thank you for reading the definition of independent clause. So independent clause is a group of words that has subject and verb but does not have expresses a complete thought and cannot be a sentence. And the independent clause answer when, where, what, how, and who. So, for example, I will example the poem. Okay? So, in independent, the first line will be the independent because it has a complete thought, right? But in the second line, in the war and the poverty, that has no sense, or the phrase are not incomplete thought. Just try to see the difference. I was born in the Africa. It has a complete thought, right? That he was born in Africa. But in the dependent clause, in the war and the poverty. So there is a big question: who is in the war and the poverty? So there is a problem with, and it cannot be a sentence. And the answer is who. So just remember, guys, the difference between the independent and dependent clause, because the dependent has a complete thought, but in independent there is no a complete thought. And as well as independent is contains a subject and a predicate and sense by itself, and it is a sentence. But in independent clause, it has only the subject and the verb, and sometimes it has a predicate but has no subject. So in the independent, it cannot be a sentence, and it has no a complete thought. So are you listening, guys? Oh yes. So did you understand? Okay, so you have a question. Yes. So Miss Buzaman asked if this both independent and dependent would be in a one sentence. So it is possible, guys, and it is really what we have here. Dependent and independent can use in one sentence. So I will show you how to know if in a sentence it has the independent or dependent. So here are the example. I decided to go to bed. So the example here is I decided to go to bed, and it is a dependent, right? So I will give the example of the dependent clause. Since I was tired. Yes, since I was tired. So, can you see it, guys? The example in the independent has complete thought, but the dependent has no thought at all. Since I was tired. So that's all. Who is tired? There is no personal pronoun or compound, or there is no a noun, a pronoun here, but the sentence is not complete thought. She was tired, and then what? Right? So if you are going to arrange the two example here, it will be I decided to go to bed since I was tired. are connected, right? I decided to go to bed since I was tired. Just remember guys na, yes, it's okay that, and it is a sentence. If the example is, I decided to go to bed. It is a dependent clause, right? But I put some extra information which is dependent clause that since I was tired, the sentence are more creative. So it is how a person or how you are going to connect the sentence. So here some of you gathered what is how to connect the sentence or the word to come up with a great or to come up with a sentence. So guys, just remember in subordinating conjunction. So subordinating conjunction is how you connect the word to have a good sentence. Okay? So did you get it, guys? Did you get it? Yes. So Miss Ivy can understand the last part of our I discussed earlier. So yes. Okay. So as I give the example a while ago. Okay, I will go first the dependent for you to understand more. Dependent since I was tired. So the example here is dependent, right? Dependent clause. Because it has no sense at all. The sentence does not have a complete thought. But if you put but if you put in the sentence that is independent clause, it will be going to comma here, and you are going to comma, and I decided to go to bed. Yes. I decided to go to bed. And this is a independent clause because it has a complete thought. Dependent clause. Independent clause. So there is a comma here because I put first the independent, and I put in the last part the independent. So as you can see guys, there is a comma here because you are adding in a statement, and this whole sentence makes sense. But if you have a bright idea in connecting, or you will going to use subordinating conjunction, the sentence here will be going to this one. I decided to go. Wait, guys. I decided to go. So this is the IDC. Then if you are going to use subordinating conjunction, the sentence will be I decided to go to bed since I was tired. one, the sentence is not a line, which is not good in the sentence. But if you're going to subordinate in conjunction and put first the independent clause and the second with independent, the sentence will be, I decided to go to bed since I was tired. The comma here is gone and the sentence are put together. So it is very, very good sentence. So that is our topic for today. So any questions? So none? Okay. So for our activity, are any questions? So if you don't have questions, I will be the one who is giving a question. So one is, how can you identify if the sentence is independent or dependent clause? Okay, so Miss Ivy, yes. Thank you for answering the question. Yes. So next one, Mr. Balta, would you stand up? Yes. Your question is, give me a sentence with an independent clause. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the answer. So Miss Bazaman, here is your question. Who is the author of the Born in Africa? Without seeing the author. So thank you so much. So that is our lesson for today. So in our activity right now, get a one whole sheet of paper and create a one sentence that has a independent and dependent clause. Okay, so do it. I give you 5 minutes. Yes. Okay. So are you already done? Pass your papers. Okay, thank you so much. So for tomorrow's assignment, I will memorize the poem Born in Africa by Saint Antoine de la Boede. And one of you will going to present the poem here in front. You will going to present if you memorize. So I hope you guys will memorize the poem. So that's all for today. So thank you so much.